Alright guys, we camera talking. Anyway, so the first 3 things to buy after your camera. So one of them first is obviously a lens. That goes without saying, because if you don't have a lens for your camera, you ain't really doing much, okay? So maybe your camera came with a lens, a kit lens. Keep in mind that the kit lens, I think usually is going to have a stereotype of not being that great. But if it's a lens, it's a lens. And if you got a budget, if you're on a budget and you got a budget that is small, then maybe just roll with the kit lens right now. But anyway, what's the next things you're going to want to get if you're just starting out and you want to do like some pretty good quality stuff? Okay, one of the things, how are you recording your audio? You might want a half decent mic. Think, do you want to do a little lav mic, right, where you clip it to yourself? Maybe you run a cord all the way to your camera. Maybe it's a wireless transmitter receiver system. These things, depending on which one you choose, the price will go up or down. Just buying a half decent lav mic, probably pretty cheap. Buying the wireless, receiver mic system for your camera, going to be a bit more expensive, right? Do you maybe just want to do a shotgun mic mounted on top of your camera if you're vlogging, or if the camera's just kind of closer to you, right? Maybe that shotgun mic will be fine. So then some of the options, depending on what level or quality or whatever of shotgun mic, what brand, prices may vary, but consider that as an option. Do you want to record your audio separately, or do you want it going into your camera? If you want it going into your camera, does your camera even have a mic port, right? Maybe consider that before buying a camera, okay? If it does have a mic port, you're probably going to need some sort of mount to mount the mic to your camera. If you have a shotgun mic, maybe it came with one. If it came with a little shotgun or a little, shock mount or whatever kind of mount, if it came with something like that, it probably just goes into the hot shoe or cold shoe, which is that little kind of notch on the top of your camera, usually above the viewfinder, I would assume. Maybe just mounted there, right? So you got your audio, right? Really don't skip the audio part, because the built-in audio on cameras is probably going to be, usually for most camera models, not great. So don't cheap out in the sense of not buying a mic. Consider buying a mic. Even just get like a cheap one, but something that's like a mic, a dedicated mic that you can just plug in, or maybe it's a recorder and you record audio separately and you sync it up in post, whatever. But audio, okay? That's number 2 after your camera / lens. All right, next, consider a light. I got a little tiny little small rig LED, little tiny light square thing, right? It's got a little diffusion silicone thing on it. It's nothing crazy. I don't remember the exact price, but it's like pretty cheap. Just look up LED video light on Amazon, and it doesn't even have to be anything crazy expensive. If you want to spend a little bit of money, but just get something that's like generally pretty good, get like a cheap light stand, and then on that mount a light that's somewhere between 40 and 60 watts, okay? Even if you get the small rig 60 watt kind of mini video LED light, that thing's going to set you back, depending on your currency. For me, it'd be probably like, I don't know, somewhere in the realm of 200 plus Canadian dollars for that video light. I recommend getting a diffusion thing to put on it. It looks kind of like this little umbrella thing that has like this little translucent kind of cloth, white cloth on it. Just kind of diffuses the light, makes it less harsh. Consider getting something like that, or if you want to bounce it off of a surface, so you bounce it off the wall, bounce it off the ceiling, then you don't need to buy the diffusion, whatever that umbrella thing, whatever it's called. Anyway, so depending on your budget, right, again, keep that in mind, but some sort of light might be helpful, unless you're shooting like outside or in a well-lit environment, or maybe you have like natural lighting or other kinds of lights around you, just trying to get light onto yourself or the subject, whatever you're filming, if the lighting isn't good or good enough already. Might depend on what you're doing, right? But anyway, another thing, consider this, depending on what you're doing. If you're filming yourself, maybe you want a tripod. It doesn't even have to be a crazy tripod. Just like if you get like a K&F concept, or like a Ulanzi tripod, or whatever the kind of affordable option brands are on Amazon. Just get like a tripod with a ball head on it. If you're filming yourself, you just kind of set the ball head at the the right angle, and then you just kind of twist the thing to make it snug, and then you leave it there. You film yourself, you're talking, whatever. But a tripod, something like that, I recommend probably generally a tripod over a monopod, because monopods might not always have stable feet that come with them, and even if they do, it's kind of like as far as I've seen, not a super broad base, so it might just be a little sketch if it's out in the wind or whatever. So just like a half decent tripod with a ball head. If you want to go a little bit more, what I would recommend is if it's a ball head that has an Arca Swiss plate mount on it, and then you put that Arca Swiss plate on your camera, right? So on my Canon 5D Mark II here, I got that Arca Swiss plate. It's basically just kind of like slides in there. You twist the thing, it snugs it up, and it makes it easy for quick, attaching, detaching. You put Arca Swiss mounts on everything. It just kind of makes it easily modular without having to use tools and stuff. So consider that as well. So tripod / Arca Swiss mounting system for said tripod. Okay, I'm going to kind of leave that there. That's the kind of the main things to consider. If you can only buy one extra peripheral, if you only have enough money, say you got your camera and your lens, nothing else, you can only get one extra thing. You only have enough money for one extra thing. Okay? Audio. Because even if you don't have a tripod, maybe you put it on a counter, you put it on a shelf, you put it on something, a table, whatever, just kind of leave it there, right? Might look a little bit weird or whatever, but you just kind of put it there. Just place it or whatever. You can make do, but like, if your audio is bad, you could have the best tripod in the world and it's the most stable shot, but if your audio sucks, it might just not be a great time, might take away from it more than the nice tripod adds to it, So, do good audio. Then after the audio, consider like, a light or a tripod. Ideally, if you get all three of those things, you're probably in hopefully a pretty solid place. But anyway, so I'm going to leave that there. Maybe this helps you. If you got any more questions, I got a Skool Community, link in description. Feel free to join up, 7-day free trial I'm running right now. So feel free to join up. If you got questions, ask the questions there. Okay? Sounds good? All right, this has been Camera Talk. You don't have to join the Skool Community, but if you want to, it's there, it's available. And again, 7-day free trial. You could join up. If you don't like it, as far as I understand, you could just dip out. I'm not an expert on how the free trial thing works with Skool, but I would assume it's that kind of thing. So you could just join for 7 days, look around. If you see stuff you like, feel free to stick around. No pressure. But if you want to consider doing that, thank you very much. Okay, guys, have a good one.